You know what's so crazy about prison, man? Sometimes the inmates are way worse than the correctional officer. It's as though inmate Norris really thought he was an actual correction officer at times. What do you mean, Norris? You giving me a write-up? I'm trying to go home to my family. This could get me thrown out of the program. I'm an inmate just like you are. What you going through, man? All the people you wrote up, now you crying. Don't cry now. You wasn't crying when you was, stopping other people from going home. Don't cry now, Norris. All the people you got thrown out of the program. All the people that you didn't allow to go home to their family. Guess what? Now it's your turn, Officer Norris. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Kids TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Oftentimes I speak about the prison system and how the staff, administration, correction officers typically treat the inmates. But this particular video is going to be about how the inmates treat the inmates. I was in a program, and I've previously mentioned this program in my prior videos. It was called a SAP program, Substance Abuse Program. Basically, what that is a 6 to 9 month program, and you go every day from, I believe we started at 7 a.m. all the way up until about 4:30 p.m. And it's pretty much 7 days a week. Even though classes are only Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays, you're still on constant how can I put this, guard. You're constantly being watched. And I'm going to explain everything to you exactly how this SAP program works within the confines of prison. When you're in the SAP program, it's known that once you complete the SAP program, you have a much higher chance of going home. I don't know the exact percentages, but a lot of people say 85-90% chance of going home when you go up for parole if you've completed the SAP program. Now, in my particular instance, it was a little difficult for me to get into the SAP program because I had previously applied, and being that I was honest, and because you got to do like a little a survey, evaluation, whatever, how often do you get high, things of that nature. I don't get high. I don't use drugs. I'm an occasional drinker, social drinker, and I don't even smoke weed. I haven't smoked weed in probably, 25 years. No better than anyone else. Just wasn't my thing. I was addicted to fast money. Again, I'm no better than no one else. It just wasn't my preference. But I also understood that, man, I'm trying to come home. I'm out on parole. I done caught another case. I done caught an additional 2 years, I believe, that time. So it was like, you know what, man, I need to get back home. I knew what to say from previous experiences of being turned down for the SAP program. So, I filled out the survey, what have you, and told them, yeah, I get high. What do I use? I use pills. I said everything that I needed to say, and I got accepted into the SAP program. So I entered the SAP program, and it's one of those things to where everything was kind of running smooth because I was in my local jail. Now, even though I was serving felony time in Kentucky, they have what's called Class D programs. So if you're a registered Class D program and your charges are minor and you don't have, a lot of years or what have you, you can probably bet your bottom dollar that you'll be kept at a Class D program. Now, the Class D programs, in my opinion, I'd rather be in penitentiary. But that's just me. A lot of people are scared to go to penitentiary that haven't been, so they want to stay in the county jails. Me, myself, get me to the yard. Not that I like the yard, not that I'm condoning going to prison or whatever, but you just get so many more, perks, if you want to say, by being on a prison yard. You get contact visits. What else do you get? You get space. You can go out on the yard. The yard opens up at 7 in the morning. Some yards open up earlier and don't close until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So you can lift weights. You can play basketball. You can play softball. In the summertime, you got cornhole. You got all types of things. You can go to the law library. You can go to the regular library. You can walk the track. You can go outside and play chess. It's just way better on the yard if you're not scary. Me, I wasn't scary. So in this particular situation, I signed up for the SAP program, hoping that I would get to the yard, but they ended up keeping me in the county jail. Everything is smooth. It's only, I want to say 20 of us in this program because the program was new. I want to say we were like the second, maybe the third class. So everything was cool. You know, we programmed every day, 7 in the morning, 4:30. Everything was over with. We did what we wanted to do the rest of the day. The SAP program is about accountability. You have to hold each other accountable. Now, when I say that, meaning you have certain people in the SAP program that are given certain positions. So we're going through the SAP program and we're new. So you got guys that have already graduated. They're considered as mentors. Anybody from Kentucky or that's gone through the system and gone through a similar program will, understand what I'm saying. They're considered a mentor. Now, a mentor has to really be, a mentor is an individual that went through the SAP program and he decided to stay behind and be a mentor, because when you stay behind and be a mentor, you get additional good time. Being in the SAP program, you get 90 days off of your sentence, but it's not really about the 90 days. It's about that parole board seeing this guy did, the SAP program. He's very, very serious, because in order to complete the SAP program, you have to be serious, in their eyes. And so, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make light of this, because the individuals that really have problems or, they get high and they're really, really into their sobriety, salute to them, man, because, a lot of them guys take it serious because they're tired of running back, in and out of prison or whatever, disappointing their family, stealing, doing all the things that it takes to supply your drug addiction. To keep up your drug habits or whatever. So some of those guys, they come in there and they're really, really serious. Me, I took it serious. Don't get me wrong, I took it serious, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, I don't even get high. But I looked at a lot of the things that they say, because a lot of the things that they teach you in the SAP program is just about making the right decisions, doing the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do, not getting high because if you get high, this is what it leads to. And then this is what this leads to. And then next thing you know, you're in prison. So I looked at it as, okay, maybe I don't get high, but I still make bad decisions, obviously, because guess where I'm at? In the Department of Corrections for the third time. So we're in the SAP program, everything's going smooth. Maybe about 2.5 months through. It could be 2.5. I want to say we was about 2.5 months through. They call a meeting. We go in for the meeting. We're not thinking anything of it. We learned that the SAP program is closing. What? The SAP program is closing? Everybody's already had, an opportunity to get close to each other, pause, camaraderie, another pause, double pause. But you know what I mean? Like, once you get used to a certain thing, it's like, you're used to being around certain people. Now it's like the SAP program is closed. Well, what are we going to do? Don't worry about it. We're sending you all to another facility. You all will all be going to the same facility, but they never would tell us which facility that we will be going to and when. Everybody's in dismay. Everybody's wondering what's going on. Now, me, I'm not really tripping, because I understand I'm in the Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections, they're going to do what they're going to do. There's nothing that we can do about it. There's nothing that we can, nothing. So probably about 2 weeks goes past. They wake us up at about 6 in the morning, tell us to pack it up. We're being transferred. The entire SAP class, it's 20 of us. They end up sending us to Marion County SAP program, Marion County, Kentucky. So we go to the Marion County SAP program or whatever. Now things are totally different because it's only 20 of us. When we get there, it's like 200 people. So they divide some of us up. We didn't all go to the same, section. They had 2 sections. They had one on the left side. They had one on the right side. I want to say maybe 10 went to the left side and 10 went to the right side. Actually, let me take that back. So we're going to rewind that. 5 went to the left side and 15 went to the right side. So we're having to get adjusted, even though we've been in the SAP program. They run their SAP program totally different. As I mentioned previously, inmates have to hold each other accountable. So when I say hold each other accountable, meaning that you have to write each other up. It's part of the program. So it's like, okay, I might get with you and say, hey, listen, man, I'm going to write you up because you was in the shower. You supposed to be out of the shower at 10 o'clock and you didn't get out until 10:01. So, I write you up for that. We come to the table, literally a table. It's me, you, and the counselor. And I present it to you. Hey, John, I'm writing you up. I'm bringing this disciplinary act towards you because you didn't get out of the shower until 10:01, knowing that you're supposed to be out of the shower by 10. Now, what he's supposed to say, what John is supposed to say is, you know what? I appreciate that, and I'm going to take a look at it. Extend his hand, shake your hand, and go on. Boom, it's over with. That's what's supposed to happen. But in the SAP program that we were in, prior to arriving to Marion County, that happened, but it wasn't, the instructor was cool, but he wasn't really on it like that, Now, when you get to Marion County, it's so many different individuals and different personalities that we don't know. Now, the 2.5 months that we had already done, we got credit for it. So we ended up having to do another probably about 4 months. And it was rough. It was rough because, like I said, you got different personalities. I'm in prison, man. You got inmates and you got convicts. I don't like to refer to myself as a convict, but when I'm incarcerated, I'm a convict. So you say, well, what's the difference between an inmate and a convict? Because the inmate is just in there because he got locked up. He don't know the penitentiary rules. He don't know. He's just doing and saying whatever. No, a convict knows. You see something, man, you turn your head, man. See no evil, hear no evil. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things there's a certain way to move as a convict and a certain way that you move as an inmate. I'm not trying to tell on anybody because when we got there, it was very strict. Hell, before we arrived there, I never told on nobody. You can hold yourself accountable. So where I was at in the Fayette County Detention Center in Lexington, Kentucky, the instructor, he was cool. So it was just like every once a month you had to pull somebody or yourself up on a ticket. So I would be like, yeah, man, I was in the shower. I stayed in the shower a couple minutes early. Or I'd be like, you know what? I forgot my ID today. You had to have your ID. Now, they didn't know all the time if you didn't have your ID. So I'd be like, hey, you know what? I need to hold myself accountable because I forgot my ID today. So I had to come up to the chalkboard in front of the whole class and tell everybody the importance of having my ID and the importance of holding myself accountable. So, it was one of those things that really teaches you life lessons. Well, as I mentioned, at Marion County, it was a lot more intense. So a couple months goes past. I'm dealing with it. Every day I'm waking up. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, it was torture. We used to have to sit in a class first thing in the morning and do like everybody would just have to stand up and say something positive. Every affirmations, positive affirmations. And I was just like, man, and you go through that, then you go to your first class, then you go to your second and third class, and you had to participate. It's not like you sit there and just be like, because they'd throw you out of the class or they'd put you on the bus stop. The bus stop means you go grab all your stuff, go downstairs, sit it on the bench, and you just sit there all day long, symbolizing that you're almost out of the program. If you don't get right, we're going to go and put you on the bus and you out of the program. So you had to participate in the class. And it was just one of those things, man. You had so many chalk mouths, so many boot-licking dudes that was in there that was really, really telling. Now, there's a difference between, like I said, if I go to you and say, hey, listen, man, as much as I hate this, as much as you hate it, but we have to do it because we have to get through the program. You got some dudes that was really, really gung-ho and getting people thrown out of the program. And when I say thrown out of the program, I'm literally talking about on the 180th day, on the 210th day, the last day, meaning all I got to do is this and I'm going home. Call my family, tell them I graduated, come get me. Or they put me on a Greyhound. Dudes was getting thrown out at the hands of the mentors. Now, at the same time, don't get me wrong, the mentors, it's kind of mixed emotions because it's like, if they allow you to get away with this, what are you going to do in society and you get away with it 1 or 2 times and think that you can keep doing it? So I get it, but I just never really, it's just not me. It wasn't me, but at the same time, I was trying to go home and I was kind of playing both sides of the fence and, trying to get up. So at any rate, there was a dude and his name was Norris. That's his real name. I don't always use people's real name, but guess what? I'm going to use Norris's real name. Marion County Detention Center. This is where we was at. Or Marion County Jail SAP program, whatever. Norris had been through the SAP program, and so he decided to remain as a mentor. And each class that graduated, he had the option of remaining a mentor. Every time the class graduated, he would get 90 days off of his sentence. Norris, he had been to the penitentiary. He had been, he was a convict, so I thought. But a lot of times I looked at Norris and it was just like, okay, we're going to give him a pass in my mind anyway, because he's just playing his role. But Norris would do the most, man. Norris would kind of make you look at him sideways. Because, like, there were certain things that after the classes ended at 4:30, even though the instructors went home, guess what? Norris was over everybody on this particular side that we were on. Now, you had other mentors, but he was like the head mentor. So he would get mad and he would tell people to put the games up by 8:30, and 8:33 the games are not completely put up. So he would do a little stuff by making us like go to Saturday class. Now we got to sit in there from 8 in the morning to 11 just because he decided to do so. And he really, really abused his authority, in my opinion. Now, Norris, him and I, we were cool because he can cook really well. And he taught me how to cook a lot of things in prison. So to this day, I know how to, I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring you all some of the recipes that Norris taught me. And then other people taught me just as well, like how to cook a prison pizza, straight out of noodles. You take your noodles, your water, your crackers, at gets your crust to stick together or whatever. Then you got your pepperonis, your cheese, your chicken, whatever you want on your pizza, barbecue sauce, pizza sauce, whatever, and cheese. And I'm gonna show you all how to do that in due time. So Norris was just like, the power was really, really going through his head. Now, at the same time the power was going through his head, they hired a young lady, and I don't even remember her name, so we're gonna call her Becky. We're gonna call her Becky. Becky was probably about 5'3", 5'4", I don't know, 260, 270. Real cute girl. She had short hair. She had like the funny color eyes, man. And, she was she was kind of cute, She was a little heavy set, but ain't nothing wrong with heavy set. I'm just trying to paint a picture to get you all to understand exactly what Becky looked like. Now, she was like mean to all the inmates. I'm talking about writing people up. And it was crazy because one minute she was nice, and then you get comfortable with her, and then next thing you know, she's throwing you out of the program or having you thrown out of the program for pursuing. Now, pursuing means pursuing a relationship with a staff member. You ain't even did nothing. Hey, how you doing today, Miss Becky? Your hair looks nice. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I went to my beautician or what have you. Yeah, man, everything looks nice, man. Hope you have a good day. Next thing you know, you getting packed up for pursuing. Because what she says or what the inmates, not the inmates, but what the officers say, guess what? They're going to take the officer's word. You're not even going to get a true investigation. And she was having people thrown out left and right. She was a stickler to the rules, but then I think she was a little bipolar. So then she would come around and try to be cool with you and talk to you and whatever. I stayed away from her. She used to try to talk. I kid you all not. She used to try to talk to me all the time. And people would be like, man, she likes you. No, the hell she don't. You better stay away from me. I'm trying to go home. I never got involved with her. I never messed with her. So it came to everybody's attention over time that Norris, he seemed to have a great relationship with Becky, with Officer Becky, because she was an officer. She wasn't a sergeant, a lieutenant, or anything. She hadn't even been there long. But you noticed that they had somewhat of a rapport, but it was kind of like, no big deal, whatever, you mind your business. And then he's a mentor. So being a mentor, he has to have more communication with an officer opposed to the inmates. So Norris is, you would look up and let me tell you this before I go any further. I'm sorry, I stuck my hand in front of the whole screen. Norris, being a mentor, he had a one-man cell. Okay, you would graduate to certain levels in SAP. So I got to the point to where in my 5th month, I believe, my 5th month, they put me in a 2-man cell. And that was as high as a week could go, unless I wanted to be a mentor. They tried to make me a mentor. I was like, man, I'm not going to be a mentor. I don't want to be a mentor. I have but they made me one anyway and put me in a 2-man cell. I never asked. I never wrote nobody up. I never said nothing. I didn't do nothing. I'm surprised that they didn't, set me back or throw me out or whatever. I absolutely did nothing. I'm not writing nobody up unless you and I have already, okay, man, you left your cup on the table, and it's already agreed upon. Not with it whatsoever. But I'm trying to work the program. Well, Norris, we was on the same walk, But he had the one-man room. And his one-man room, I never will forget, was at the very end of the walk. Well, at the very end of the walk, they had cameras on the walk, but the camera didn't cover the one-man room. So it was already rumors going on that she was bringing Norris food and stuff like that. Because, you know, when you locked up and you can smell Burger King, you can smell, McDonald's, and you can smell these things. She was bringing him food in and going in his cell at night. Now and again, this was just a rumor. Nobody, it was just a rumor. Nobody seen it. So Norris was still being Norris, still, being strict with all the inmates or whatever. But at the same time, allegedly, at this time it's allegedly, you dealing with this correction officer and you're not even supposed to be dealing with her. Next thing you know, one night, the officers come through. Actually, it wasn't even an officer at that point. It was an inmate. It was an inmate. Because, like, when you walk out of it's a walk. So when you walk out of your walk, you might go and, go to the microwave or go to the shower or something like that. And an inmate walked and seen Norris and another mentor. It was two of them. I forget his name. It was Norris and the other mentor and the officer. They're in Norris's room at the end of the hall. It's late. She worked third shift. It's probably, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. Typically, as a inmate, you're not even really supposed to be out of your room that late. Now, don't get me wrong. You can be out of your room, but there's really no reason to be out of your room because the showers are shut down. The microwaves, everything's shut down. So I don't even know why this dude was even out of his room. But he ended up being out of his room, out of his cell, 2-man cell. He walks and I guess he's going to talk to Norris. That makes sense. I guess he was going to talk to Norris. He had some things on his mind. When he goes to talk to Norris, Norris is in there along with the other mentor, along with Officer Becky, doing the nasty, doing the most. Yeah, Pornhub. You know what I mean? Norris is in front, the other dude's in the back, and they having a party in there. So, dude, he's sitting there and he's watching for a second. He's been locked up a few years, so I guess he's enjoying the party. Oh, okay. So this is the same dude. This is the same dude that was a stickler as far as the rules and accountability and holding, all the inmates accountable. So I wouldn't be doing my job. Now, he was a mentor, but he wasn't a mentor like me because I wouldn't have said nothing. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't hold mentor Norris accountable. Okay. He goes, he gets the CO. He don't say anything. He watches for a second. He goes and gets the CO. Hey, CO, I need to talk to you. Yeah, what's going on? Now, when you're in SAP, man, they don't really treat you nearly as bad as they treat you like if you're a regular inmate. But this particular facility, man, I'm not even going to lie, man. It was like a Christian facility, and they didn't really treat inmates bad like that. I'm not going to lie to you. Marion County jail, Marion County SAP program, they didn't treat inmates bad whatsoever. So, he was doing the right thing in his mind. So he goes and he tells the officer, hey, officer, I need you to come with me. I need you to show you something. So the officer's like, well, it's an emergency. Is there something? Yeah, I need you to come with me. So the officer comes with him. He takes him to Norris' cell. The officer looks in because, like, when I say you look in, you got a door. It's not bars, it's a door, but there's like a window. And the window's probably, 3 by 3. And you can look in, maybe 2 by 2. So you can look in and see exactly what the inmate's doing. Now, if the inmate's in there using the restroom or something like that, they usually put a cardboard up and write on there, using the bathroom or whatever. And so people would knock instead of just coming in. For whatever reason, they ain't put the cardboard up. I don't know what Norris was thinking about. So the officer comes back. He sees it. He goes in the door immediately. Now, when he goes in the door, the dude who was the other mentor that went and got the officer, he had instructed him going back to your room because I don't want, everybody to know that you was the one that brought me back here. Officer goes in. He catches the officer, Officer Becky, and the two mentors doing the nasty, doing the most. And he writes both of those dudes up, and they immediately get taken to the hoe. She gets walked off the compound, which means she was fired on site. When you get walked off the compound, you get fired on site. So it doesn't end there. Norris is in the hole. It was crazy because with Norris, and I just now remembered this because it was a long time ago, Norris's son had gotten into a lot of trouble. He had caught like a murder case. And so the jail was actually trying to help Norris with the case. He had caught a murder case because he was with some people that did something, and supposedly he didn't do anything, but he was just with them. So the jail was so cool, man. They was helping him out or whatever. And it was like, all of that went down the drain. How could you disappoint us like that? We put the utmost trust and try to do everything for you, and you go and do this? Well, guess what Norris does? Man, it wasn't my fault. She made us do it. What do you mean she made you do it? She made us do it. What do you mean? She made us. She came in my room. She went and got dude. He came in and she told us that if we didn't do it, then we would immediately be thrown out of the SAP program. She made it. So you didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do anything. I was just trying to get home to my kid. I didn't want to get thrown out or what have you. So I obliged and I did whatever, she said. They transferred Norris and the other dude to like an actual prison or whatever. He files a lawsuit. He calls home. He gets an attorney. He files a lawsuit. Once he filed the lawsuit, they ended up charging her with, I forget what the actual charge is, but it's something, you can't be dealing with an inmate. You can't be having sexual relations with an inmate. She gets charged. She's all over the news. You see her a couple days later. Her picture is plastered all over the news. Everybody's cheering, laughing. That's what you get. They laughing because she was so nasty to people, and she had such a unpleasant attitude at times to where people were really, really happy for her downfall. So Norris is playing the victim. Now, the other gentleman, I'm sure he did the same thing. They're playing the victims. Listen, man, I'm an inmate. She comes in my room. She tells me, put my pants down, that, let's get it in. What am I supposed to do? I got to do what she tells me to do. I didn't want to. She's not even my type, but I had to do it. So they charge her. She ends up pleading guilty. Norris and the other dude, their charges end up getting totally dismissed. Totally dismissed. They get charged. Because, like I said, when you think about it, I'm the inmate. If an officer tells me to do something, even though we clearly know that Norris was messing with that young lady, it was blatantly obvious. It was blatantly obvious. He had to play his role. He trying to get home. He trying to get home to his family. He's in a hole. She done got fired. She can't bring him in stuff no more. She's putting money on his books. She was doing all type of things for Norris. So at the end of the day, he was making it seem as though Officer Becky turned him out. Yeah, Officer Becky turned him out. Along with the other mentor, which was an inmate, she turned both of them out. But when it's all said and done, they really turned her out. Definitely Norris did. We would smell the food. We knew what was going on. It's late at night. She think everybody's asleep, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She's sliding in Norris's cell. Norris is in the cell all by itself. They in there, having a good old time. But then the next morning you mad because somebody got out of the shower a minute or two late. So you making us go to Saturday class. You writing people up. You bringing us to the table. They used to do a thing called town hall meeting. When you had a town hall meeting and you had a ticket, you would have to get up in front of the whole class, which was at Marion County, 120 people roughly, and humiliate yourself. If you didn't clean the microwave out, you got to bring the microwave in there and make up a song in front of everybody and sing to the microwave about you not cleaning the microwave out, or wear a toilet seat over your neck. It was about, it humiliated you, but it was about humility and taking accountability. A lot of those things they ended up stopping, but at the time, that's just what it was, and Norris was responsible for a lot of that, and he sits there in the front row like he's a hell of a guy, like he's a sheriff or something, and he, but all the while, you're doing more dirt than anybody else. So that's why I say he didn't turn her out. Well, actually, he did turn her out, just to be totally honest, you know, because, and the reason that I say that is, he was getting everything that he wanted out of her. I mean, think about it. You in prison, you got somebody, every time she gets paid, she's putting $100 on your books. She's bringing you in food. She's bringing you in, you know, whatever you need. She's delivering messages for you. She's bringing her phone so you can make phone calls or what have you. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's crazy, but that's exactly how it went down. And see, the manipulation in prison, that's why I say, if you got, and I'm going to make a video about this, so I don't want to really go too deep into it, but if you got a woman, a wife, or whatever, man, do not allow her to work in a correctional facility. Now, when I say allow, I'm not saying that you control her life. I'm not saying that you tell her what to do, but do not encourage and frown upon her if she works at a correctional facility as a correction officer. Because I'm telling you, man, them inmates, they sit around working out all day. They're thinking about you. They see you. They know when you're happy, when you're not happy. They looking at you. They preying on your emotions. And you will be very, very surprised, you all that have never been incarcerated, how many inmates end up doing the do with dudes' wives, dudes' girlfriends, or whatever. And sometimes the inmate ends up taking the girlfriend or the wife. Yeah, it definitely goes down. See, inmates, a lot of people, why would you want an inmate? Because the inmate's a human being. You sitting around doing 2,000 push-ups a day. You doing 2,000 dips a day. You doing pull-ups. You know what I'm saying? You doing burpees. You doing Tyson squats. Yeah, you getting your mind right. You ain't getting high. You're not drinking. You reading the Bible. You into your spirituality or whatever. Your mind, you focused. That's why. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive, man. Y'all keep y'all wives out of them correctional facilities, man, because they coming for them, man. Definitely are. Facts.